Hello and welcome back to another video. Episode 8 of the Inanimate Insanity Remaster just dropped, so I thought I'd make another video going over the differences. Just like the last episode, there is a lot of changes, but with this episode there's a few points in it which is actually making me question whether this whole remaster has bigger implications on the main story. So I'll get into that whilst I talk about all of the comparisons as well. Again, with the comparisons I'll mostly be focused on major points that are changed, rather than every piece of changed dialogue, since quite a few parts are worded differently but still convey the exact same plot. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to see more videos like this. The episode starts out quite like the original with MePhone 4S confronting MePhone 4, but in the remaster, MePhone 4 makes an extra joke about being alone, which he does not make in the original. Okay, so in my last remaster review, I talked about how it was sad they seemed they were going to remove alternate intros. I was actually so wrong, they made an alternate one here for MePhone 4S. Before the elimination, MePhone 4S had a lot more lines compared to what he had in the original, which is cool. When MePhone 4S multiplies Pickle's votes by 2, in the original, Pickle argues with 4S until the end, but in the remaster, Pickle ends up agreeing, but his votes are doubled anyway, since he technically spoke when MePhone 4S said if he kept talking he'd multiply the votes. There's quite a big difference in this next part. In the original, MePhone 4S is able to generate the cookies using Siri, but here in the remaster he can't do that, and this fact is pointed out. This is probably definitely referencing to how MePhone 4S does not have the shimmer energy in him and therefore can't actually generate things, but in the original this plot point was not thought of yet at the time, so that's why he could probably generate them. So obviously because of this change, cookies are not handed out to the safe competitors, except for one for Pickle, so the joke about Pickle's cookie being poisoned from later on could be executed in the remaster. In the remaster they make a fake out joke of Salt being eliminated by MePhone 4S saying Salt's name, and Salt assuming that this means she's eliminated before it's revealed to actually be Pepper who is. This joke is almost completely reversed in the original, since Pepper's name is read out first, and she assumed this meant that she was the next safe before it was revealed that she was the one with the most votes. Then when everyone is competing, they added in quite an important scene between Salt and OJ where Salt says,
"Oh, I won't let you go like I let go Pepper."
I mean, you could.
This line definitely wasn't in the original and may actually make more sense why Adam said that Salt's affection for OJ wasn't programmed by MePhone in the Q&A livestream. Although again, the remaster isn't technically canon from what we know, so I don't know. Also, the way that Marshmallow, Apple, and Paintbrush get immunity here is very different. In the original, Apple and Paintbrush both fall into the quicksand, but in the remaster, Marshmallow, using the fist thingy, gets her, Apple, and Paintbrush to the other side, which I think is quite a big change. She then talks about Walmart, and then MePhone 4S comments,
"Win immunity, and I applaud the commitment to a cooperation. So relatable to me personally."
which probably references what we know now more about Meeple. Then OJ, Marshmallow, and Taco then use the time machine just like in the original to revive MePhone 4. Now in the remaster, the dummy MePhone 4 that it replaced the real one with is a plushie, and this segment is a bit longer than the original, but the really interesting thing is what OJ says here.
It does. Now go, OJ!
Sorry, I just got the weirdest sense of deja vu.
Well, yeah, we just time traveled.
No, but even that, haven't we done this before?
Quick, reports!
This could always just be a fourth wall break that doesn't mean anything, but what if it actually could mean something deeper? I think that as the remaster episodes have been coming out, there's been more and more references to things we only knew due to the rest of the show, and what if these aren't just fun little coincidences and were actually indicating something else? The creators have said that the remaster's existence is something that will make sense in the future of the show, and I think this line OJ says is definitely starting to give this statement some weight. Like, what if the remaster is just, say for example, MePhone 4 telling all the events to season 1 to MePhone 3DS or something like that? I mean, if it's something along those lines, it would make sense why some things have drastically changed. Of course, there's also the possibility the reason for the remaster existing could be a darker reason as well, maybe something in universe that links to why both shows are running concurrently. If you have any thoughts of your own about this, I'd love to hear it in the comments. The part where Apple and Paintbrush use Salt to get across the quicksand was not present in the remaster obviously, since they had already gotten immunity earlier. Then in the remaster, when MePhone 4 reveals himself to be alive again, more emphasis is put in the fact that he did come back compared to the original. Something I noticed with this scene is the way MePhone fell here looked a lot like how he did in season 2 episode 18, which I thought was just coincidence until I checked Twitter and saw this tweet from the animator of the scene, saying that this parallel was very intentional and that they had to study the season 2 scene to replicate it. This feels crazy to me, like what do you mean that that was intentional? I'm not quite sure of a solid theory as of yet, but I think it's probably definitely linked to a greater purpose of the remaster if that's truly what is happening here. Then, when in the original MePhone 4 changes MePhone 4S's wallpaper to a Hello Kitty one, this is changed in the remaster to MePhone 4 asking Siri to put up pictures of Hi Hi Kitty Cat, which yeah, definitely is their legally distinct Hello Kitty. Then, the only major difference we have left in this episode, in my opinion, is the after credits scene. As this was completely changed since it wouldn't make too much sense to keep the original since Marshmallow doesn't throw Apple into the quicksand in the remaster. I actually really love the new end credits scene though. Anyhow, this is about it for the comparisons I have to make of the episode, so I'll now talk about my thoughts about the whole remastered episode as a whole. In my opinion, I think this is my favourite remastered episode out of all of them so far. They kept so many of the moments that made the original so endearing, like keeping the original voice clips of Pickle when he was being poisoned, but also adding so many new elements that were so interesting, such as what OJ said about feeling like he had been there before. It makes me super intrigued to whether there may actually be something more happening here, and even if this is not the case, I think this episode was super cool anyhow, so I think I'll give it a 10 out of 10 if I were to rate it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope this video provided some nice insight into these episodes. Goodbye!